Hey everybody, I'm back with the Kove 800X Rally, and I found a bunch of luggage that I used to have, Wolfman luggage, so we're going to take a look. I believe this was a tail bag. As you can tell, it's like brand new. I never really used it. I put some bungees on it at one point, but it didn't really work at the time for my dual sporting needs. Now, my father did buy me that, and I believe he bought me this Wolfman bag too. So these are old models. They're probably not even around anymore. I think I got the duffel bag free from Wolfman, I believe. But a long time ago, so I don't remember. But this is kind of a tail bag. I'm trying to even remember how it goes. I used it a bunch on my XR650R for some point-to-points, and then that was it. Yeah, I would have to see how this all straps on, but the idea is it kind of has these like little humps that hang down, and I remember it worked pretty well. I had enough straps that you could figure out how to strap it on and how to strap things to it. I did like that aspect of it. I believe it went on like that. And I think this is so you can put like one of those rolls through there. Yeah, so it would go something like that. So I got that type of setup. And during my street bike days, I had these saddlebags. And that's kind of on the exhaust. But let's say the rack, I get the metal rack on here. I'd put them back probably around there. Yeah, I can shorten this. I can make it shorter so it stays up. And I could probably make it so it stays just above that. It does have like a silicone bottom. So I don't recall that being a big deal, at least on my FZ1. I had a 2001 Yamaha FZ1, so they work great on the street bike. Never flapped in, but this is a lot more angled, so it could possibly, unless I keep it up. Then if I can keep it up, we'll see here. I'm just gonna play around with stuff, see what I have, see what kind of works that I already have. Has straps, you would hook it on. I would have to figure that out. Without a rack, it's kind of hard because you don't have any attachment points. So we will see. This is the tail bag for the Cortech Tour Master Cortech series. So these snap down in a there like that all around. That also kind of keeps things up and from going in towards the wheel. Like I said, on my FC1 I never had a problem. I rode across country and stuff, but we will see. I actually like this bag anyways. I forgot I even had it and wondered where it was. It was in the attic. Just using as like a travel bag. It expands from what I remember. I thought it did. Maybe it doesn't. Oh, okay, that's what it did. So there's zippers inside and it expands like inwards so you can put dirty clothes or get to stuff. Yeah, I forget exactly how this works, but I really do like this. So this is a good like top bag. So we will see if any of this works, but I'm just trying to give ideas of what I currently have of how you'd want to set things up. I think with this bike, with having it seems like a pretty short tail, that yes, I need the rack on here. That will help out, just also kind of keep things off the plastic. And if you're wondering about these being waterproof, I never had an issue, but it does come with these like rain things. I never used them. What I did was I take a garbage bag, like a kitchen hefty trash bag, and I just put it in, fold it out, pack my stuff in, roll the top, and then when this is zipped, everything's waterproof. Then my clothes are waterproof. I've never had an issue. Electronics, all that. Now, if you have stuff in here in a really torrential downpour, things will get wet. Oh yeah, a lid. You're wondering what that is for street bikes? Just a hot tarmac to toss under the kickstand, so kickstand wouldn't sink, and that's all you actually needed to toss under a kickstand for asphalt. So yeah, let's see, anything goodies in here. They have like 2 pockets on each side, so you could, like, you know, toss water in here or something, easy to get to. Or a lot of times I would put like the waters on top of the garbage bag I folded, and because obviously that doesn't matter, like Gatorade and waters and Red Bulls, didn't matter if they got wet. And yeah, this dries out pretty well. It's held up pretty well. It has thousands and thousands of miles on these, and they work pretty good off-road. I believe I used this off-road once, and then I got that. So obviously that probably makes more sense to use. So we will see. I will kind of mock this up, and we will just go from there and see if any of this stuff works. Okay, spent a few minutes here trying to mock it up. So I turned the bags around. So this slant cut was to the back, mainly because of the exhaust. Although I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the back due to the reflectiveness of that material. I thought it was in the back. I remember it being in the back, but this bike, I mean, you can turn it around. It doesn't really matter. I think it would work. I think especially with the luggage rack, you know, the top piece that goes around for the Kove, and like the tail rack, I guess it is, that sticks out, that would have this on something, be a little higher up. This direction, it doesn't seem like it will flap into too bad. And you say, well, how so it doesn't flap out, right? Well, these straps, I would put something around here to attach that to. If there's not underneath, I don't feel anything off the get-go, but then that would, obviously, if it's attached around there, ain't going out. Same for that side. And then here, you would just go around the exhaust mount. Unfortunately, because the Rally doesn't have passenger pegs, and this is why I like passenger pegs, is it gives you a place to mount. But I think you could thread this or something like this through there, and then that would stop that from going out. Although it's not easy to push out, especially if this bag was full, plus if you had real weight in the side bags. So this ultimately set up could work for me. I mean, I'm thinking about getting luggage, but I'm just showing you some ideas for your Kove. So that would work. So why I liked this luggage back in the day was because if I just wanted to take in the top bag, I just unclip, 4 clips, bada boom, bada bing. Or I just undo here with the clips, clip, and clip, and I would just lift off. I would go inside the motel room, and there I go. I have my clothes right there, and all that was left on here was where you anchored that down, and at least you had everything, electronics, clothes, whatever, in your hotel room. That simple. So now let's try to get the Wolfman bag up, which I don't remember which direction that goes, but let's play around and see what I can do. Okay, so this is the Wolfman setup that I have. So yeah, your like roll bag could go here. Wolfman has straps that come around, goes through these. That would hold that waterproof roll bag attached. Then there's straps that can go around the whole thing to either compress it, or, you know, you could put another roll bag right on through there, compress it down, because if you have those type of anchor points, it's not going to come out from side to side, and that would go on. You also have these straps that come down and anchor to something. One here, one on this side. This side, I don't know where I would go with how the bike is. You also have these straps that kind of compress inwards. It's pushing inward to keep everything solid. And you can see plenty of room to expand that out. Then you have these straps down here that would go, I would guess, if I had the rack, I would go around the rack, and then you go back up in there, through, out, and back in, and then out. Be able to cinch it. Well, yeah, not an easy spot to do without some sort of rack. But this is what this bag would look like on here. It would work very well, and actually for my use it would be more than adequate for the size, right? If I needed to add another bag like this, waterproof bag, I would once again just put something under there and make it tight, and I think that would work. I could also use other straps to go around if I needed longer length to make it tight. I could also use this strap possibly to go around a point to keep the item, the luggage, on the bike. There's a lot of straps with the Wolfman luggage setup, and that's a good thing, but there's so many. What I don't like about it, like the Cortech Tour Master stuff, is that it's not quick. It is not quick. Like, I can't just, once I have the points attached on the bike, I can't just go click, 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 and those connector points just come right off. This, I would have to, fiddle with and take all this stuff off. And then, yes, this attached to here, then I'd be able to just lift it right off. Of course, I do have the one anchor point on. And that would be the quickest one, because I have something to go around. Again, without having a foot peg for the passenger, even though I don't care if it has passenger pegs, just an anchor point. So then, yes, once you undo it, you do have a way to carry that into your hotel room. Now, this is just a generic one that I used at one point. You get them at Walmart, at least back then. They didn't cost that much back then, like $10 or so. And I have actually a couple newer ones that are this material, real thick, some other company. Now, this was just a tail bag. I never used it like I showed at the beginning. And if I had the rack, you could attach that on. And it had just some plastic hook bungee thing, and I cut my own and tied my own knots and tried that on the XR650R when I had a rack, aluminum rack on the back. I think once. Obviously, you can tell it's like brand new. I never really had a need for this. Maybe if I got that rack, I would make an attachment point for this. I would do away with the bungees. I would just probably go through the holes if it lined up somewhat and make an attachment point right to a rack. I think the rack sits off, I think pretty far, depending how you want. So this could sit kind of far back here, and I could just have a spot to toss in my water or whatever if I didn't want to tote around my hydration pack. It has good pockets. It's well thought out. Eric at Wolfman, the owner, always thought things out. You can see it overhangs the zippers, so it's fairly water resistant. We won't say waterproof, water resistant. This one even expands. The stuff isn't cheap. I hope it's still made in the USA, made in USA. But that's another idea. So I have some stuff right off the shelf that I happen to have that I can play around with. I'm actually liking for now, the Cortech Tour Master stuff. If I was to get the rear luggage, so I think it covers this, it has the tail piece. I think that would work the best, and plus give me some anchor points right here that I could work with, and I think that would work just fine, to be honest with you, and be quick release. I'm undecided on this. I mean, if you got in the whole Venture thing and you want that whole, I guess, type setup, then that's probably what you want to go with. It's probably more durable. It's probably more thoughtful as far as, like, zippers are covered so water doesn't just go in, where this, I 100% have to line. I would still line that because I would never trust cloth 100%, but it's not a big deal. You put a garbage bag up here, you pack your clothes in, you roll it, and it's sealed. It's good. If you wonder why I have locks, that's just to keep people honest. I would just lock my stuff. That way at the gas pump, no one's unzipping and quickly grabbing anything if I had something on top, which was usually just little stuff, you know. That was back before the GoPro days, so there was no stealing too many electronics. A flip phone at the most, you know, which I usually kept in my tank bag that I would have, and with my wallet and stuff. And I liked that tank bag I used to have, which was Marseille. They're not around anymore, but it was quick. It was like a purse. But this has a shorter tank than my street bikes, so far as length, so it wouldn't work. So you have to get something that's different. I don't want something that sticks way up. You see those people with these huge things. I don't want that, so maybe something that's just little, kind of like a purse, more or less. So you get your wallet out of your pocket, you put it in there, your phone maybe. I know some people say they mount their phone on the bars. I have an extra phone for that. I might get a little tablet even. I don't know. Haven't got that far. But, yeah, I'm guilty of using GPS for navigation nowadays like everyone else versus paper maps. Although I do prefer paper maps because you find the weirdest, smallest roads. That's why I like adventure bikes, because I see a road. What is that? What's that dirt road? And you go down it, right? And that's, you meet the most interesting people when you get off the beaten path, and you see something a lot of people don't see because they don't turn left, they don't turn right, they stay on that pavement. So yeah, something like a little purse. If you guys have any recommendations, I'll look into it. Yeah, I'm still working out Luggage. I have a company that is talking about, be honest with you all, I don't know if a discount hooking me up. I have a few companies that were actually talking, so I guess it's whoever's first in that regard. Because I would like to see it on this bike. I would like to see the various luggage systems, because we all have different needs. That's the hard part with luggage, right? What works for me might not work for you. A lot of people like to take their kitchen sink and everything they own on their adventure. I like to go minimalist. I like to have as little as possible. I'd rather stay at a old motel myself versus dealing with a tent and packing up in the morning and making, cooking my meals out there. I'd rather hit the fast food joint or the local diner and just bada boom, bada bing. But the tent aspect you need sometimes, because if you're really out there, well, that might be all there is, right? So I get that too. So we'll probably do multitude of different adventure type riding methods, whether it's motel, camping, this or that. So we'll see. So hopefully this video gives you some ideas. That's all this video was was just ideas. So y'all take care, stay well, stay safe, and hey, give me pointers down in the comments. Have a good one. Bye.